Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome inside the gymnasium at Nashoba Regional High School as Milford TV is happy to bring you coverage of Scarlet Hawks athletics. This is Tim Coet here on the call for Milford TV, and yes, that is right, we are on the road as we continue our coverage of the Milford Lady Scarlet Hawks volleyball team. They enter into the quarterfinal round of the Division II Central MIAA tournament, and they are here at Nashoba Regional High School in Bolton, Massachusetts, getting set to take on the number 3 seed in the tournament bracket. That is the Nashoba Lady Chieftains. Milford fresh off of a victory in the first round of this tournament play. That came back on last Thursday evening. Milford had the opportunity to host their first round playoff game as the number 6 seed. They took on 11-seeded Tantascwa, and it was one of the most dominant performances we've seen out of Milford all season long. They were able to start off that first set of the match on an 8-0 run, and they did not look back from there. A big 25-5 victory in the first set, and they went on to sweep the Tantascwa Lady Warriors in that first round victory. So Milford eliminating Tantascwa, moving on to this quarterfinal round where they head out on the road, taking on this very talented Nashoba regional team. Nashoba, a fairly regular contributor in the Division II Central playoffs, a very talented volleyball program here at Nashoba. And you look at how Nashoba unfolded over the course of the season. It was a rocky start to the season, to say the least. Nashoba losing their first 2 matches of the year, shutout defeats at the hands of Algonquin and Acton Boxborough. But from there, Nashoba really caught fire. They lost only 2 matches for the rest of the season. They finished the regular season on a 7-game winning streak, and they concluded the regular season with 4 games in which they did not lose a single set. 3-set sweeps in each of their final 4 games of the season, so they ride their way into the playoffs with tremendous momentum. As the number 3 seed in the bracket, they were able to earn a bye through the first round, so this is Nashoba's first playoff game. It comes here in the quarterfinals against Milford. So these are 2 extremely talented programs here on the floor tonight. Milford riding a tremendous amount of confidence. This was a team with players playing in their very first playoff game up and down the roster last Thursday night. Not a single player on this varsity squad had participated in the MIAA tournament before, but looked incredibly comfortable in tournament play throughout that match against Tantascwa, so they look to carry that confidence on the road here. It looks like they will, in all likelihood, be on the road for the remainder of their playoff matchups, but here today in Bolton, taking on the Nashoba Lady Chieftains, with the match coming up at 4 o'clock. We want to welcome in everyone who has tuned into us via the live stream app. Very happy to be live streaming coverage of the volleyball playoffs for you this afternoon. A little bit of an earlier start time to this playoff games. All the rest of the quarterfinal matches in this Division II Central bracket not taking place until 7 o'clock this evening, but an early game here. And Milford hopes for another victory for an opportunity to move on to the Division II Central semifinals. But of course, a big game coming up here in just a few short minutes. Again, it is Milford, the number 6 seed, taking on the number 3 seeded Nashoba Lady Chieftains. We have got the beginning of this match coming up in just a few short minutes, so stay tuned to coverage of Scarlet Hawks athletics right here on Milford TV. We welcome you back inside the Nashoba Regional High School Gymnasium. We are about set to get started with set number 1 of this quarterfinal playoff matchup. The Milford Lady Scarlet Hawks and the Nashoba Regional Lady Chieftains. Player introductions taking place just a moment ago. A very good rendition of the national anthem sung by one of the students here at Nashoba. And this playoff game getting underway just a little bit after 4 o'clock in the afternoon. An early playoff matchup. Milford playing their first round matchup at 7 o'clock in the evening a couple of nights ago, but an earlier matchup here today. But regardless of the early hour of this game, a terrific showing by the fans of both of these teams. The Milford Scarlet Hawks fans traveling very well. The Nashoba fans showing up in big numbers as well. Bit of a different configuration here in the Nashoba gym, as you can see, with an athletic training facility set up on the far side of the gym. All of the stands are set up on this side where we are bringing you the coverage, so you may not see the fans, but they are here in very large numbers. And right now the players are out there on the floor getting ready to get this quarterfinal matchup underway. They get the signal from the officials now, just doing a few last bits of business. As Milford right now, their personnel out on the floor: Stephanie Shirelli, Jillian Valenzola, Ali Zagami, Kelly Reichert, Kyra Alves, and Allie Collins, who steps behind the line. She will serve first to get this playoff matchup underway as the fans continue to get loud. The ball in the air, the serve is away, and this playoff game underway. And off the front of the net, and immediately the first point of this matchup goes to Milford. Nashoba unable to return that ball. And taking a quick look around the floor, we can see they've added an additional official for this round of the playoffs, so a 3-team officiating crew. As this ball is sent hard back over the net by Nashoba, but Milford able to return. Now the libero steps up from the back row for Nashoba. They play it from the left side, but that hard smash from number 14, Emma Sullivan, driven into the net. And Milford takes an early 2-0 lead, and Collins will continue to serve. Serve now sinks down right in the center of the court, and Ali Zagami steps up to the net and spikes it. And so Milford starting out this quarterfinal matchup similar to how their first round matchup started out, on a roll here, winning the first 3 points. Here's Collins' next serve. That just sneaks over. Does it stay in? Indeed it does, just hugging that far sideline, and Collins gets the ace. And these Milford fans loving what they're seeing early. The bench with plenty of energy as always. This ball played from the right side. Now, again, the libero, number 7, Sophia Naroyan, sends it over. Zagami one-handed. Up from the front, the hard attacking shot goes wide beyond the far sideline. And a 5-0 lead opened up for Milford. Another serve away for Collins, and some miscommunication amongst Nashoba. You can see Abigail Recco and Jordan Bricknell both going after that ball, and it ended up deflecting off of both players, and out. Milford opens up this match on a 6-0 run, and that forces an early timeout to be called by the head coach for Nashoba. That is Jonna Doyle. And so she will talk things over with her squad, as Milford has once again come out firing. The intensity level for this Milford team so far in the playoffs has been absolutely outstanding. They have been locked in from the moment these matches have begun, and you can just see the confidence is overflowing for Milford. They believe that they are good enough to beat each and every team they come up against. Both teams break the huddle now, as Allie Collins has 6 straight points on her serve. She'll keep it going. Now to the back row, and that ball is delivered long, so the timeout halts the momentum for Milford for now. And we'll see the first Nashoba serve of the night, and it will come courtesy of Kyla Shane, one of the 2 Nashoba captains. She is a senior. And Kyra Alves will meet it on the back row. Here's Valenzola up front, and she is stuffed. That looked like Breen McConnell in the front row for Nashoba, who was able to reject that shot from Valenzola. And again, it's Alves the first to get to it. Nashoba quickly returns it, and Zagami's able to send it over. Now back over to the Nashoba side. Hard over, and Kyra Alves watches it sail beyond the back line. And a 7-2 lead now for Milford, as we will see Ali Zagami take over on serve. Ali led Milford in their first round matchup in kills with 12 and aces with 6. Nearly gets one there, but a terrific dig on the Nashoba side. But that ball ends up out on the near sideline. And the fans in green in the stands stunned into silence here early on in the first set. Here's a hard shot from the center of the front row for Nashoba. Milford keeps it alive. Kelly Reichert one-handed delivers it over. Now from the right side, this ball pops over the front row for Milford, and despite the diving attempt for Zagami, she can't get there. Well placed for Nashoba to get the kill. And this will send Breen McConnell to the service line now for Nashoba. The high setup, and that serve just barely skips over the net. Collins, two-handed, will deliver it over. Now from the middle of the front row, over to the Milford side. Collins returns it and ends up getting the kill. So it is actually a 4-man officiating crew presiding over this game this afternoon. So plenty of eyes making sure all of the calls are right on the money. Reichert trying for the stuff. Nashoba keeps it alive. Jane Schuler into the game, gets to this one. Now here's Zagami. And that is just inside the back line. Well placed for Zagami for a kill in this quarterfinal round, and a 10-3 lead now for Milford. Here's the serve from Schuler, and again we see a couple of players having a hard time communicating on the Nashoba side. And right now you can see the libero, Sophia Naroyan, trying to get everybody on the same page. An 11-3 Milford lead now. More from Schuler. Dug out on the back line by Naroyan. And the two-handed attempt in back by Kyla Shea, excuse me, goes right into the center of the net. This time Shea able to send it over on the first hit and quickly returned by Shirelli. Now that ball popped over the reach of Juliana Tracy, but Milford able to get back there in support. Now from the left side and right into the center of the floor. Milford spread out a bit. Another diving attempt for Zagami, but she couldn't dig it. Brings the score to 12-4. Milford in front by a large margin. Cecilia Bowden now on serve for Nashoba. Hard shot by Reichert. And now this ball is well beyond the back line. The majority of the JV team here in attendance, and they are leading the cheers from the sidelines right now. As we will now see the first serve of the game for Lauren Zarangian. This ball softly sent over by number 15, Bree Donahue. Now here's Reichert, the cross-court shot, and the kill. And Milford with a 10-point advantage in this first set. Zarangian a couple of bounces, and now the serve to the back row for Shea. And now just keeping that one in. A nice play from the right side for Nashoba. And that ball a little bit long out of Kelly Reichert. Nashoba looking to fight back after falling behind early. The serve from Jordan Bricknell. Now here's Reichert again, and again long. So Reichert firing some hard shots on these last two volleys, both of them sailing beyond the back line, needing to find that touch again as this ball is sent awkwardly off the arm of Brianna Croto into the game, and all of a sudden now we start to see Nashoba stringing some points together as they adjust. Here's Zagami. Now Zarangian setting it up for Croto. Good play up front for Nashoba. And quickly we start to see the score getting closer and closer. Here's Zagami, high floating shot. And that ball fails to make it over the net. And that will stop the swinging momentum, which looked to be heading in Nashoba's favor. A good service game out of Jordan Bricknell, the co-captain, but it comes to an end, and now Kelly Reichert will softly deliver the serve right into the arms of Naroyan. Now Reichert will dig this and set up for Zagami. Sent hard to the back row, but met by Bricknell. Now this ball floating to the back. Can Nashoba save it? They do indeed. Waiting for it is Jane Schuler. Now Juliana Tracy. Excellent touch on the shot for Tracy. Milford back up by 8. This ball is dug out by Bricknell. Makes its way over Tracy, and a good job by Zagami and Zarangian. They keep it alive, they return it, and Milford walks away with the point. The serve continues for the junior Kelly Reichert. Excellent dig by Naroyan. Schuler lets that go, and that was close. If the judge here on the back line, he deemed that in. It was a very close call. Looked like it may have been beyond the line, but Nashoba gets the benefit of the call, and it brings the score to 17-9. Schuler meets the serve. Now Zagami waiting for it. Madeline Susi up front. She timed the jump well, but that ball ended up deflecting quickly between a couple of players on the Nashoba side. And it leads to the Milford kill, and now we'll see the serve from Kyra Alves. They set it up on the left side. Zarangian the first to get to it. Now here's Zagami, and that ball blocked. An effective tandem up front with Breen McConnell and Madeline Susi. They team up for the block. Breen McConnell with 27 total blocks in the regular season. Now the serve from Marissa Cloutier. Valenzola keeps that alive, and eventually it's Zagami who returns it. Alves with the dive. She makes contact, but cannot return. And that brings Coach Zakili over from the bench. She does not call the timeout, but as always, constantly communicating with her players on the floor. And the point for Milford as Nashoba reaches over the net to try to play that one. So far, the big lead Milford was able to build up early in this set, making the difference. They started this set out on a 6-0 run as Allie Collins, who was responsible for that 6-0 run on the serve, this time her first serve goes into the net. Intensity level rising on the Nashoba side as they'll get the serve from Kyla Shea. She sends it long. And Milford now up 20-12 in set 1. Back on serve. We see more from Ali Zagami. Nashoba having a tough time with that one, but the libero, Jordan Bricknell, able to send it over. Sophia Noroyan able to send it over. But ultimately, Milford comes away with the point on that volley. Nashoba Regional High School, part of the Midland-Wachusett League, or of course the Midwalk League as it is better known, and certainly well known to Milford fans. Milford, a one-time member of the Midwalk League, broken up into 4 divisions. Nashoba part of the Midwalk B League. 21-13. Nashoba back on serve, and that ball sent well long from Breen McConnell. Substitutions on the Milford side as Juliana Tracy and Jane Schuler come back out onto the floor. Schuler will go on serve. From the middle of the front row, it's returned by Bree Donahue. High setup for Reichert. She softly sends it over. Jordan Bricknell gets to it. Now more from Bree Donahue. Now it's Collins for Reichert, and Reichert gets the kill. Too hot to handle for Kyla Shea. Set up high from Noroyan. Nashoba able to return it, dug by Ali Zagami. Now from the left side, that ball popped over. Collins gets to it. Now Schuler for Kelly Reichert, and it eludes the dive of the libero, Sophia Noroyan, and that will bring up set point in this first set for Milford, 24-13. Schuler trying to close it out. The serve away, and it's met in the back by Shea, and rejected in front by Juliana Tracy. And Tracy gets the kill to end this first set. Milford making a statement here in the quarterfinals. They win this first set 25-13. Another impressive start for Milford as they won the first 6 points of the set, and that really set the tone. We saw a couple of shifts in momentum for Nashoba, but they could not come back. So Milford takes a 1-0 lead. We will pause ever so briefly, and we will be back for the second set between the number 6 seeded Milford Lady Scarlet Hawks and the number 3 seeded Nashoba Lady Chieftains as we bring you coverage of Milford High School girls volleyball in the MIAA tournament right here on Milford TV. Back inside the gymnasium at Nashoba Regional High School in Bolton, Massachusetts, where Milford TV brings you coverage of this Division II Central semifinal matchup for girls volleyball between Milford and the Nashoba Lady Chieftains. Milford able to win out in the first set, 25-13. Backed by a very strong start in the set, a 6-0 start, and they never trailed. Milford will now look to attack from left to right across your television screens here, or your mobile devices, I should say as well, for those of you joining us via the live stream app. And the serve in the air from Nashoba. And that ball glances off the antenna from the Milford side. That will allow Nashoba to take the opening point. So that is their first lead now in this quarterfinal match. The serve from Marissa Cloutier. Collins will set it up for Valenzola. And this will travel all the way over and out beyond the far sideline. This will put Milford on serve for the first time in set number 2. We'll see the serve come from Ali Zagami. Zagami, a hard serve, corralled by Abigail Recco. And the stuff in front. Valenzola leading the way. Jillian Valenzola had a tremendous game in the first round. She had 6 kills to go along with 3 blocks. It was a major factor all night long. Now this ball sent over with 2 hands by Breen McConnell. Reichert will deliver it hard over. It's dug straight in the air. A nice play by Sophia Noroyan, the libero. And Collins will try to catch Nashoba by surprise, but they were able to counter, and Nashoba gets the kill. And we start off with a much more even tempo to the second set. 2 points apiece. And a serve now from Kyla Shea. Kyra Alves traveling a long way to try to get to that one. She was able to make contact, but the ball flies off behind the Milford bench. And Nashoba will once again jump ahead, now 3-2. Alves much easier time handling this serve. Now Collins to Reichert, a diving play by Noroyan. And two-handed sent over by Shea. Collins sets it up for Zagami this time, but again, Noroyan is the first to get to it. And sent over by Nashoba, but Milford gets the point. And we'll see more out of Jane Schuler on serve, who finished out that first set. Sprawling play made on the Nashoba side. They're able to return. Now Stephanie Shirelli, and that one just beyond the sideline. The volleyball playing surface outlined in thin red stripes on the floor here in Nashoba. Now here's Riker. Can she keep it in? And a little bit long. Looks like perhaps it's the yellow lines. Both sets very close together. We can see now the yellow lines. That one just sneaking past that back yellow line on the Nashoba side. Popped high over the net by Jordan Bricknell. Reichert waits for it. It's rejected. Milford keeps it alive. Can Reichert keep it in play? She does. It bounces off the net, and Milford gets the point. What a tremendous play out of Kelly Reichert. The entire Milford team alert, keeping that ball alive, and a very hard-earned point for the Lady Scarlet Hawks. And the players on the Nashoba side shaking their heads. How did Milford keep that in play? And that puts Milford back in front 5-4. The Milford fans roaring after that last play. Milford can't keep the momentum going for long, as again they deliver the serve past the back line. On serve for Nashoba, number 1, Cecilia Bedouin. And a 6-5 lead now for Nashoba. The Chieftains making some adjustments after that first set. As Bedouin that time delivers the serve into the net, that will shift it back over to the Milford side for Kelly Reichert, with the score knotted at 6. Tough play that time as Bowden and looked like number 11 Madeline Susi collided, both going after that ball. We've seen that a couple of times out in Nashoba, trying to tighten up on the communication as this match goes along. This ball returned cleanly by Susi. Now Zagami, as that ball is lofted high in the air with 2 hands underhanded over by Jordan Bricknell. Another sprawling play, this time by Zagami to save it, and Reichert returns it over the net. And a double hit on the Nashoba side. Milford fearless on their side of the floor. Zagami diving headlong towards the scorer's table to keep that ball alive. As now Reichert continues to serve with Milford up 8-6. More desperation out of Milford as that ball is sent back over by Brianna Croto. It's fired into the net by Nashoba. Any way you can steal a point, Milford will take it. And the two officials confer as it looked like the referee up top was going to award the point to Milford, but conferring with the official across the way, and they end up scoring that for Nashoba, bringing the score to 9-7 with Milford in front. Zarangian will set it up for Tracy. No problem for Nashoba. Now from the left side, the hard attacking shot by Emma Sullivan. Now it's Zagami, and off the hands. It might have initially glanced off of Bodouin. It eventually ricocheted to Sophia Naroyan, and ultimately it ends up as a Milford kill. Milford into double digits now, up 10-7. We'll see the libero on the Lady Hawks side. Kyra Alves serve it out, met by her counterpart on Nashoba, Sophia Naroyan. Now here's Croto and Zarangian for Ali Zagami. Nashoba getting drawn in a bit close to the net, and that ball finding a free spot on the floor in the back far corner. A 4-point lead now in the second set for Milford as Alves' serve this time is met. And Nashoba tries to dump it over, but the double hit. The Lady Hawks trying to gain some separation as they did in the first set. Alves' serve goes initially to Emma Sullivan. Now Sullivan sends the hard smash over, but Milford keeps it going. Now Zagami returns it, but blocked in front. Bree Donahue and Madeline Susi team up for the block. The block goes out of bounds now as we get the complete ruling. So another point in Milford's favor, and now this ball cannot be dug out by Sullivan. And Milford now ups it to a 7-point lead in set 2. As the serves keep coming from Kyra Alves, she has settled Milford into a very nice groove. Milford up 1-0 in this quarterfinal matchup. The hard attacking shot in front by Bree Donahue. And so that breaks up the string for Alves. Sends the ball to Bree Donahue on serve. There's Alves from the back row, the high setup for Zarangian. And that ball just in on the far sideline. Just out on the far sideline. Point goes to Nashoba. They keep the serve going. Now here's Zagami. A quick push shot on the Milford side. Now in front, Breen McConnell looking for the spike. Milford able to make contact, but the ball lands on the floor. The point for Nashoba. They tighten things back up again. The score now 14-10. Milford leads, and the timeout is called on the floor, I believe called by head coach Linda Zakili. A little bit more about Nashoba during the timeout. Again, as we mentioned it, operating out of the Midwalk B division, where Nashoba was able to win the 4-team division. Really impressive records all the way around in the Midwalk B. Nashoba winning with an overall record of 16-4. They went 10-1 in league play. Westboro finishing second in the Midwalk B with an overall record of 14-4, 11-2 in league play. Groton Dunstable coming in third place at 11-9 overall, 7-4 in league play. And Marlboro finishing in fourth, but a good 13-8 overall record, 5-7 in league play. All of those teams making it into the playoffs. So a talented division. And of course, Milford playing in the powerful Hockomock League, so these are two teams that are fairly well tested. The serve continues for Nashoba, and Donahue ends up getting the ace as Milford can't return it. And that narrows the Milford lead to 3 points. It was once as large as 7 points in this set. Jordan Bricknell, a good dive, but she could not save it, and Milford will walk away with their 15th point, 15-11, as the serve goes to Allie Collins. The ball in the air, the serve away, dug by Naroyan. Now Sullivan returning. Collins, the setup for Zagami. Quick reflexes by Jillian Valenzola. Two-handed for Kelly Reichert. Now returned over by Breen McConnell. Still alive, one of our longest volleys of the game so far. Pushed over with two hands by the libero, Naroyan. Now this ball deflects off the front row, and Milford earns the kill. Really earning it that time. And the lead back up to 5. And Collins into the hands of Jordan Bricknell. Their bump drifts off towards the net and eludes the rest of the Lady Chieftains squad, and Milford now back up 17-11. As this ball sinks down again in the direction of Bricknell. And that setup handcuffing Nashoba a bit, but they were able to return it. That just hugs the far sideline. And so a good bounce going Nashoba's way after we've seen several bounces benefit Milford through the second set. And this time the bounce off the top of the net on the serve attempt by Marissa Cloutier. And so up 18-12, Zagami goes back on serve. Clean setup in front, the hard smash. That ball deflects down on the ceiling. And bad luck that time for Milford. A diving attempt in desperation for Zagami, but she had no chance. And this gets the hometown Nashoba crowd up and cheering on the sidelines. Kelly Reichert plays that one along the far sideline. Now in front, played nicely by Zagami. Now here's Reichert, she is stuffed. And she tries to quickly react to that ball one-handed. It might have been better off if she had left it for one of her teammates. And again, Nashoba narrows the gap to 4 points, 18-14. The serve now for Kyla Shea. Here's Collins for Reichert. Lofted over by McConnell. Now Shirelli with two hands. Back to Naroyan. From the right side, the stuff attempt by Valenzola. Nashoba able to get it over, and the bounce off the net. Three players dive, but Milford gets the kill. Right now, Earl Wilson, who made the trip with the team, trying to get the Milford fans pumped back up, excuse me, as Jane Schuler will once again serve it. That ball returned despite more miscommunication on the Nashoba side. Now that ball off the ceiling. And it looked like that bounced under the net and over onto the Milford side. A lower ceiling here in the Nashoba gym than what Milford is used to. Now this ball returned hard by Nashoba. Milford answers, and this time the ball sent over wide to the near side. And Milford up 21-14. Now all the way over on one shot by McConnell. Great effort out of both of these teams. Neither side afraid of physical play, neither side afraid to make the big dive to try to save a play. And that time you saw it from a couple of players on the Nashoba side, but it resulted in the point for Milford nonetheless. Now a 22-14 lead. Milford, one of 8 teams to make it into the MIAA tournament out of the Hockomock League, and as we enter into play today, 7 of those 8 teams are still alive in their respective tournament brackets. Mansfield, North Attleboro, and Oliver Ames all with victories in the first round out of the Division I South bracket. King Philip received a bye through their first round of the D1 Central East bracket. They will take on Newton South tomorrow in a matchup. Franklin winning their first round matchup in the Division I Central West bracket. They move on to the quarterfinals, taking on Lincoln Sudbury. Stoughton, the only team to be eliminated from their playoff bracket out of the D2 South. And of course, Canton received a bye in their first round, in the first round of this Division II Central bracket. So 7 of the 8 teams in the Hawks still alive as we are back to live action here on the Nashoba floor. That ball rolls across the top of the net, lands on the Nashoba side. And a 23-14 lead coming out of the timeout, and more good serving from Jane Schuler. Schuler now gets to this ball. Here's Juliana Tracy, right into the hands of Kyla Shea. Hard attacking shot met by Schuler. Now here's Reichert, and that splits in between Breen McConnell and Sophia Naroyan, and again we see a set point opportunity present itself for Milford, up 24-14 in the second set. Can Schuler finish it off again? Her serve in the air, met by Bricknell. Now in front, rejected by Milford, and that is it, the double hit on the Nashoba side. And so for the second set in a row, Jane Schuler is able to take care of business, and Milford in full command of this quarterfinal matchup now, 25-14. They win set 2, and now just one set away from moving on to the semifinal round. We will have the beginning of the third set between the number 6 seeded Milford Lady Scarlet Hawks and the number 3 seeded Nashoba Lady Chieftains. When we come back next, again, you are enjoying playoff coverage of Milford Lady Hawks volleyball on Milford TV. Again, we welcome you inside the gymnasium at Nashoba Regional High School in Bolton, Massachusetts. Milford TV on the road to bring you coverage of this Lady Hawks volleyball team in the midst of a quarterfinal showdown in the Division II Central bracket with the Nashoba Lady Chieftains. Milford winning the first set 25-13. They won set 2 25-14. And now Allie Collins will get the third set started as Milford tries to sweep their second straight playoff matchup. The ball in the air for Ali Zagami. It's dug out on the back row by Sophia Naroyan, the libero. And now Emma Sullivan with a hard shot, but right into the net. And Milford opens up this third set action with the first point. Collins got Milford rolling early, serving Milford to 6 straight points to open up the first set, giving Milford a lot of confidence right away. quick 2-0 lead here. And the ball away by Collins, but this time sent long. Nashoba now takes over the serve as this ball is popped over the net by Valenzola. Nashoba keeps it alive. Now it's Zagami to Collins, right back to Zagami. And Breen McConnell and Abigail Recco team up for the block on the right side for Nashoba. And that quickly ties things up. Reichert to Collins, right back to Kelly Reichert. Kept alive for Nashoba. From the middle, it's McConnell. Now Valenzola with her back to the net returns it. And McConnell trying to put a little extra mustard on that attacking shot, but she sends it into the net. Now here's Ali Zagami, her first serve of the third set. They'll play it from the left side. Great dig by Kyra Alves, sprawling out. Now returned softly by Reichert. And punched over, but it ends up deflecting out of play off the hand of Breen McConnell. She saw the block coming, trying to get that one over quickly, but the ball deflected off of her closed fist and off by the scorer's table. A 4-2 lead now for Milford. The serve continues for Zagami. And there's those communication issues popping up again on the Nashoba side. That time you saw Kyla Shea trying to call off Breen McConnell. And the players just could not adjust in time. It went off the back of McConnell, leads to the point for Milford. They open up a 5-2 lead in the set. And again, we see the timeout called by Coach Jonna Doyle. With a victory in this game, whoever ultimately comes out on top, Milford hoping to seal the deal after winning the first two sets, but whoever advances to the semifinal round will square off with the winner of the Canton-Ashland game. The number 2 seeded Canton Lady Bulldogs will open up their playoff run later on this evening at home. A 7 o'clock showdown with Ashland, who upset Nipmuc, the 10-7 upset in the first round. Ashland outlasting Nipmuc in 5 sets. So they will take on the Bulldogs, and the winner of that game will face the winner of this game in the semifinals. Dug out by Ali Zagami, tipped over by Valenzola. Now Alves plays this one. Collins now to Shirelli, who pushes it to the back row. Now from the left side for Nashoba. Deflects off of Milford and out. The point for the Chieftains. Tightens it to 5-3 early on in the third set. And the serve will come from the libero, Sophia Naroyan. Dug out by Kyra Alves. And that point goes to Milford. Nashoba reaching over the net that time. And back to Jane Schuler, who has been superb on serve all game long. And she gets the ace. That touches down just inside the near back corner. Well placed for Schuler. And again, it's the fans dressed in red who are jolted to life as Milford has now opened up a 7-3 lead, and back-to-back aces for Schuler. An 8-3 lead now for Milford. And this time, Nashoba is able to get to it. No ace for Schuler, but Milford gets the kill nonetheless. They open up a 9-3 lead. As Nashoba also makes sure we're keeping our head on a swivel over here at the broadcast table. Very kind of Nashoba to allow us to travel on the road to take in this playoff volleyball matchup. Our broadcast setup right now on the Milford side of the floor, just off the near sideline. And in this third set, Milford up 9-4, as Nashoba is finally able to break Schuler's serve, but they cannot get the serve over the net on their side, and that gives Milford their 10th point of this third set, 10-4. And the serve now from Lauren Zarangian. Long run for Baudouin to get to that one. Nashoba ultimately able to return it. Now Croto, a nice play. A point from Milford. They wisely pulled the arms in, letting that ball go beyond the back line. We've seen very few mistakes out of Milford so far in this playoff run. This ball lofted over. Zarangian gets to it. Now Schuler for Reichert. Reichert will pop it over the net. Again, we see two players go after the same ball on the Nashoba side. This time they're able to return. Now the setup in front. Bree Donahue returns it, but Milford sends it right back over the net. We continue. The cross-court attempt, Zarangian. And that one dies just prior to going over the net. Tracy trying to respond after that bounce off the net, but she couldn't save it. A good strong volley on both sides. It results in a much needed point for Nashoba. They trail 11-5 as they go back on serve. Here's Tracy, the hard smash, and nicely dug out by Cecilia Baudouin. Schuler tries the dig on the Milford side of the floor, but that results in the Nashoba point, 11-6, as the Lady Chieftains string a couple of points together. A serve from Jordan Bricknell. Here's Zarangian for Croto. Up to the front, pushed over. It's Zarangian again, this time for Reichert. And that ball travels far off the hands of Bricknell. And Nashoba returns, and Brianna Croto having trouble handling that one. And Coach Zakili, feeling a possible momentum shift here, will call the timeout as we see the score now at 11-7, Milford leading. A couple of leads early in the second set for Nashoba at 1-0 and at 3-2, but outside of that, Milford has led almost wire to wire. They led all the way through in the first set. They have led all the way through so far in this third set. And for Nashoba, we take a look at their schedule. Their last game in the regular season came all the way back on October 28th. They did not have a game in the first round, so they had a long wait in between meaningful games. I'm sure they scrimmaged in between, but hard to replicate top-level in-game competition. And you always have to think about that rest versus rust debate that you always get come playoff time for a team that earns their way to a bye through the early rounds. Will it come back to hurt? And maybe this team a little bit rusty, as Milford now answers back with back-to-back kills. The junior Kelly Reichert on serve. And a well-placed attacking shot that time by Bree Donahue, finding open floor space. 13-8 now the score. Donahue on serve, delivers it wide to the near side. Kyra Alves checks into the game, as does Valenzola. Kyra Alves takes over the serve. Met by Madeline Susi. Zagami, a good hard attacking shot. Nashoba keeps it going. Here's Zarangian setting it up for Zagami. Zagami stuffed, the ball stays in play. And there's maybe our first bit of bad communication on the Milford side on the night. Valenzola wanting to play that ball as it was returned. She then saw the libero, Kyra Alves, streaking forward. She left it for Alves, who had a long way to go. May have been wise for Valenzola to play that herself. She probably knows it now. As the score now goes to 14-9. The serve met by Reichert. Now here's Croto. And the violation up front committed by Victoria Tuttle into the game for Nashoba. And Allie Collins goes back on serve. Collins to Abigail Recco. And that ball drops down in the front row between Marissa Cloutier and Kyla Shea. Collins' serve will continue. Allie Collins, when I asked her after the first round of these playoffs, was the team worried at all about going on the road? She said, one gym is like the other. This team was not at all fazed at the prospect of playing out the remainder of their tournament games on the road. Collins' serve continues with Milford up 17-9. Two-handed over, met by Alves. Collins setting it up on the right side for Shirelli. Nashoba now two-hands it over. Collins now for Zagami, and Zagami not enough elevation on her attacking shot. That brings the score to 17-10. We talked very briefly in between sets with athletic director Peter Boucher, who of course is in the house here traveling with the volleyball team. And I believe as we move on to the semifinal round of this tournament, should Milford advance, the games would move to a neutral site location for the rest of the tournament. I believe Peter said that would take place in Wellesley, as that ball was rifled over from Milford for the point, opening up an 8-point advantage. And back to Ali Zagami behind the line. The ball dug out by Naroyan. Now from the left side to the libero, Kyra Alves. Here's Reichert. Just skips that one over the net, but Nashoba stays with it. Now the high setup off the ceiling and a bad bounce from Milford. That is definitely the one interesting aspect to keep in mind as the playoffs go on and as you play on the road. A lot of different gyms, a lot of different configurations, some gyms with very short ceilings. This is one of them here in Nashoba. We haven't seen it come into play too much, but going against Milford there, but they quickly are able to answer back with a kill from Kelly Reichert. More personnel shifts from Milford. They have Juliana Tracy, Kelly Reichert, Stephanie Shirelli, Allie Collins, Ali Zagami, and Jane Schuler on the floor right now as Schuler serves and gets another ace. Schuler had back-to-back aces in the second set. And her first serve this time around gets another ace to her total. Cross-court attempt from the front line for Nashoba. It is wide on the far side. And Milford up by 10. Getting to be desperation time now for Nashoba. Softly sent over. Schuler handles it. Now for Shirelli. Off the hands of Naroyan. No one can get to it. And Milford 3 points away from moving on to the semifinals. Schuler's serve dropping down in front of Naroyan. She's able to adjust. Now just sneaking over where Tracy was waiting. Now here's Reichert, and she smashes that off the hands of Naroyan and out. And we'll see the timeout called again on the Nashoba side, 23-11. Milford in front in this third set. And we see Jane Schuler right now trying to be the closer again. She has been on serve as Milford claimed victories in the first 2 sets and trying to do it again here in the third. Again, whoever moves on from this semifinal round will square off against the winner of Canton versus Ashland. And if you had a chance to watch our coverage of the first round matchup that Milford was victorious in against Tantascwa, and also if you had a chance to watch the Milford Informer last Friday night, we had a chance a couple of times last week to talk to head coach Linda Zakili, and both times she was very open about looking for the potential for that third matchup of the season with Canton, wanting to give her girls another crack at that Canton Lady Bulldogs team. They will possibly have their chance if they can close out this third set. Schuler continues the serve, and Juliana Tracy from the center of the front row with the kill, and it is match point now for the Lady Hawks. The Milford fans get loud. Jane Schuler ready, the serve away, met by Naroyan. They'll set it up for the right side, and that ball is sent long, and that is your game. Milford comes into Nashoba Regional High School here in Bolton, and again, they sweep their way to victory for the second straight time in the postseason. A sweep over Tantascwa in the first round, and now a 3-set sweep over the Nashoba Lady Chieftains, and Milford advances to the Division II Central semifinals. What a terrific match for the Lady Scarlet Hawks. They end up winning this third set 25-11. It ends up being their most lopsided win in the match. And the roars now from this varsity team, the JV squad now out on the floor to congratulate their fellow teammates. Excitement all the way around with this Milford program right now. They are back to form, and they are operating at their highest level of the year, peaking at the right time. So again, they advance to the semifinals. It is not solidified yet who they will face, but right now the opportunity is there for this team and their coach to have their wish to face off with Canton if they can win against Ashland, who comes in as the number 10 seed in that matchup against Canton, who is the number 2 seed. That game will take place at 7 o'clock tonight in Canton, so we will know by the later stages of this evening who Milford will face in the semifinals, but right now they will bask in the glow of a tremendous playoff victory. Again, the sweep for Milford over the Nashoba Lady Chieftains. A big thank you to our crew on hand for this game here, traveling on the road to bring you coverage of this Lady Hawks volleyball team. Our director, Rob O'Keefe, our camera operator, Mike Sperling, and I am Tim Coet. Again, your final score one final time, a 3-set sweep for Milford over Nashoba. This has been coverage of Milford High School athletics on Milford TV. So long, everybody.